Hello everybody and welcome back to my chess channel. I will begin a new series where I will try to visualize games in my head because I think having this tool or chess visualization, I think that will improve my chess. I'm a relative beginner to chess, so because of that I cannot really visualize that many moves in my head. So I was thinking I will create games of my own that are quite short and with no really strange moves so that I will be able to visualize them easy. And perhaps somebody else also wants to learn from this. So I will just go over an easy game here where I will show the moves, show the threats, uh, talk about the diagonals for the bishops. The diagonals can be quite tricky. So therefore, in order just to show what I'm talking about, I will begin with the first move here in the first game. So I will play with my pawn on e2. I will play e4 with it. And the black normally plays e5. So now we have pawns in the center on e4 and e5 square opposing each other. Normally for white, the knight on g1 will come out to f3. And this knight, if we try to visualize this in our heads, are attacking the black pawn on e5, right? It's also attacking the squares that are empty at the moment on d4 and g5, but it's critical to know that it's attacking the e5 square where the black has a pawn. Black wants to protect its pawn on e5 and therefore plays knight to c6. So the c6 knight defends the black pawn on e5. It also attacks the squares d4 and b4. But it's essential to know that it defends the black pawn on e5. So now we have two pawns in the center opposing each other, and then a knight on f3 and the knight on c6. The next typical move for white is to play the bishop from f1 to c4. And in doing so, the bishop will go from f1 to e2 to d3 to c4, going the whole diagonal f1, e2, d3, c4. And at c4, the bishop is not protected by any piece, right? It is standing there on its own in the center. And if we look where it attacks, it on c4, it attacks the d5 square. It attacks the e6 square. Those squares are both empty. And it attacks the pawn on f7, which is very critical since it is very close to the king. And if the bishop attacks the f7 square, it will check the king on e8. Black then plays d6, and the d6 moves protects the pawn on e5. So now the e5 pawn is protected by the pawn on d6 and the knight on c6. White can try to open up the center by the move d4. What is attacking the d4 square now? Well, black has a pawn on e5 that is attacking the d4 square, and the knight on c6. Since the knight on c6 is defending the e5 square, attacking the d4 square, black has now two attackers on the white pawn on d4. But white has also two defenders on the d4 square where the pawn is. The knight on f3 not only attacks e5, it also defends d4. And behind the d4 pawn, we have the queen on d8. So white has two defenders. Black now takes the pawn on d4 with its pawn from e5. White can take it back with the knight on f3, and then the black knight on c6 will take the white knight on d4. And now the queen, the white queen on d8, can go up and take the black knight on d4. And now black plays his bishop to g4. Remember that the black has a pawn on d6 that he played earlier. So therefore, the bishop on c8 can go through the empty square d7, e6, f5 to g4. Is the bishop attacking anything of material, of white, or any white pieces? The black bishop is attacking the square f3. Do we have anything on f3 for white? The knight is not there anymore. It was captured on d4, so the white is not there. Is there anything on e2? No, the pawn on e2 is still at e4. Is it attacking anything on d8? No, since the queen has moved from d8 to d4. So the black bishop on g4 is not attacking anything. White then plays queen to d5, forming a battery, since now on d5 it can go via the empty square on e6 to f7, right? So imagine this, you have the bishop on c4, the queen on d5, forming a battery so they can attack f7 close to the king, right? And the king will not be able to take the queen, since the queen will be defended by the bishop on c4. That is why they are forming a battery. In this case, black plays a very bad move. Black plays knight to f6. The knight on f6 is defending its bishop on g4. It's attacking the white's pawn on e4. And it's also attacking the white queen on d5. But by playing this move, black is neglecting the defense of f7 square. And now white can put the queen on f7 and deliver checkmate on the black queen. Okay, so this was the first game of this series, and I will try to put on some more games that are easy, or that are supposed to be easy for beginners like myself on, well, perhaps I'm intermediate in chess, but, or I don't really know the definition of what is a beginner and intermediate. I'm certainly not better than intermediate. But when it comes to visualization, I am definitely a beginner. I can't hardly pronounce the word visualization. So I'm definitely a beginner in this. So I will try to help myself really by playing these games, and will look at this video myself with my eyes closed and try to see if I can understand the game in my head. And perhaps I can also try to remember the game after I watched it. Thank you.